I am Heather Vaughn, 28 years old, and I bought a beat-up old car for $1,200 instead of covering my sister's $50,000 debt. My family lost it. Mom and my sister teamed up, shoving me toward the door, screaming, "Get out of my house, you selfish bastard!" They said I'd shame them with my stupid choice, but 6 months later, that junk car became something they couldn't ignore. The morning after hit them like a freight train. Mom bolted awake in our Seattle suburb home, fumbling for her phone amid the usual stack of bills. Her face drained as she opened the email foreclosure notice glaring back. "What the hell?" she muttered, dialing the bank on speaker. The rep's voice cut through. "Ma'am, the delinquency's been cured partially, but the lien holder's enforcing the note. Process starts today. Sale in 90 days if no reinstatement." Mom froze, hand trembling. "Lien holder. That's impossible. This is our house." She slammed the phone down, yelling for Dad and my sister to wake up. Panic spread as they huddled over the laptop, pulling up records. They thought I knew nothing. Months went by in silence, as if nothing had ever shifted behind those closed doors. 12 hours earlier, they'd hurled me out into the rain, convinced I'd blown my savings on trash. Right after that, a quiet decision changed everything. The next morning, the house looked the same as ever, but its ownership was no longer what it seemed. If your family treats you like an ATM, what will you do? Please comment and let me know your personal opinion. Let's rewind to that Sunday dinner, the one where everything cracked wide open. We Vaughns always did family meals like a performance immaculate table in our cozy Seattle suburb kitchen, rain pattering against the windows like it was trying to join the conversation. Dad Derek Vaughn, a logistics startup guy who'd bootstrapped his way to comfortable, sat at the head scrolling emails on his phone. Mom Brenda Vaughn fluttered around with her famous roast, her community coordinator smile, masking the tight lines around her eyes. And then there was my sister Cody Vaughn, 30 years old and the undisputed star freelance stylist, with a feed full of sponsored hauls, the one who'd turned heads since high school, while I tinkered with engines in the garage. I'd scraped together $7,000 over 3 years of junior shifts at the auto shop, dreaming of my own mobile repair rig someday. Not flashy, just practical. But Cody, she'd racked up $50,000 in credit card debt chasing trends, designer drops, pop-up shops, that influencer life that promised big but delivered empty. "It's an investment," she'd say, posting another haul while maxing out cards. Halfway through the roast, Cody set her fork down with that dramatic pause she mastered in theater club. Her eyes welled up on cue. "Guys, I need to talk." Dad leaned in, already nodding like it was a pitch meeting. Mom reached for her hand. "The debt's crushing me. $50,000 therapy shopping gone wrong. My credit's tanked and I can't breathe." Mom gasped, pulling her into a hug. "Oh, honey, we'll fix this." Dad nodded. "Family first. What's the plan?" Cody glanced my way, voice trembling. "Heather, you've been saving right. $2,500 could kickstart the payoff. Just a loan I'll pay back with my next collab." I froze, fork midway to my mouth. $2,500, nearly half my nest egg. "Cody, that's a lot. I've got plans for it." Dad's jaw tightened. "Plans like what, another rusty project in the driveway? This is your sister suffering." Mom chimed in, soft but sharp. "We've carried you through school, Heather. Scholarships or not, family steps up." I'd always been the odd one out, jeans stained with grease while Cody shone at galas. But something felt off. Earlier that week, I'd spotted a stack of mail on the counter when Mom stepped out, delinquency notices from the bank, $5,000 overdue on the mortgage. Dad's startup had tanked quietly, 6 months back, payment slipping while they played perfect family online. They'd hidden it, of course, couldn't let the neighborhood know. Cody's tears amped up. "Please, sis, you're the strong one. Don't make me beg." My stomach twisted like a seized bolt. Strong one more like their safety net. "I need to think." I managed, pushing back from the table. The air thickened. Dad scoffed. "Think while your sister's drowning." Mom's eyes narrowed. Selfish Heather, after everything. That's when it hit. The family help plea wasn't just for Cody's cards. It was a smokescreen to cure that mortgage delinquency without me knowing the full rot. They'd planned it, whispering behind closed doors, using her debt as bait. I stood chair scraping. No, I won't. Cody's face crumpled. Real hurt or not, who knew? You're choosing junk over blood? Dad slammed his palm down. Out if you can't commit. The resolve hardened in my chest, cold and clear. They wanted me to save them. Fine, but on my terms. My phone buzzed as I grabbed my keys. Aunt Leslie, Mom's sister, the one who'd always seen through the polish. Heather, Leslie here, heard about dinner. Listen, Derek's mess is deeper than cards. Mortgage is $5,000 behind. Don't let them pull you in blind. Her words sealed it. Blood or not, trust had rusted through. That night, resolve turned to action. I hunched over my laptop, the screen casting a harsh glow across my cramped apartment. Washington state's foreclosure laws loaded fast, non-judicial, meaning a lien holder could seize control if payments defaulted. My heart hammered as I scanned legal blogs, piecing together how to claim a mortgage note. Dad's hidden delinquency, $5,000 overdue, was a ticking clock, 3 months behind already per the mail I'd glimpsed. They'd banked on my savings to plug their gap, but I'd outmaneuver them. I opened my banking app, the balance glaring, $7,000 scraped from years of greasy shifts. Fingers trembling, I wired it all to a hold, reserving $5,000 for the cure and fees. The app pinged confirmation I was locked in. Then the lawyer. Riley Thompson, a shop buddy turned attorney after his own family fallout, was my lifeline. I texted him past midnight, summarizing the delinquency and my plan to assign the note. His reply buzzed, "Bank'll deal to avoid foreclosure costs. $500 for docs. You'll hold the lien, power's yours if they miss again." I exhaled, the knot in my stomach loosening slightly. Paperwork would seal it by morning. Dawn broke, rain streaking my Corolla's windshield as I pulled into the bank lot. The teller processed the wire. $5,000 vanished, receipt crisp in my hand. Riley's text followed, docs done. Your lien holder. Trustees looped. I needed a decoy to blindside them. Scrolling Craigslist at a red light, I spotted it, a 1920s Ford truck, rusted heap, $1,200 cash. As is clean title, the ad promised. Smokescreen set. I met the seller in a soggy lot, his boots scuffing wet gravel. The truck's engine coughed, chassis creaking but solid. I paid cash, drove it rattling to the shop, and tucked it behind the bays. Noon hit. I rolled up to the family driveway, the Ford's rumble shaking the quiet suburb. Mom stepped out, arms folded tight. Thought it over. Heather, I leaned against the truck, keys dangling. Yeah, got this for $1,200. My future, not Cody's bailout. Dad charged from the house, face flushed. A junk heap. While we're drowning, Cody appeared, phone up, snapping pics. This is going viral. Sister pics rust over family. Mom's voice sliced through. Get that thing out. You too, if you're this selfish. They shoved me toward the door, thrusting my bag into my arms, their shouts blending with the rain's hiss. I didn't argue. The lien paperwork burned heavy in my jacket, my real play hidden. As I peeled out, Riley's text pinged, trustees ready. Next, miss. You call the shot. Rain soaked through as I pulled away. I gripped the wheel of the old Ford, its engine rattling like a warning as I steered toward my rented garage on the edge of Seattle's suburbs. The rain drummed hard, mirroring the thud in my chest. They thought they'd broken me, shoved out, bag in hand, labeled selfish. But I held the lien now, $5,000 wired to cure their delinquency, my name on the mortgage note. Their miss of the next payment would hand me the trigger to call the sale. For now, I played invisible. I parked the truck in the garage, its rusted frame blending with stacks of spare parts. My alibi kicked in, work as usual, wrenching axles at the shop by day, tinkering with the Ford by night. I posted vague Instagram stories, close-ups of the truck's chassis, captioned "New project, new start." Nobody needed to know it was a decoy hiding my real move. Grease under my nails, I rebuilt the carburetor each turn of the wrench, grounding me. They'd see waste. I saw a future. Aunt Leslie, Mom's sister, texted a week later, her message sharp. Your dad missed another payment. Bank's gearing up for default notice. You okay? I replied quick, holding steady. Her updates were my pulse on their unraveling confirmation they hadn't changed, still dodging reality while I waited. Days blurred into weeks. I clocked overtime at the shop, my hands steady on torque wrenches, while my mind tracked the foreclosure clock, 90 days from default notice per Washington law before the bank could escalate. I didn't call or visit home. They'd cast me as a stranger. I leaned into it, my chest tightening at the thought, but my focus razor sharp. One morning, a neighbor, Mr. Grady Wilson, knocked on the garage door, thermos in hand. His gray beard twitched as he eyed the Ford. Heard you got kicked out, he said, pouring coffee. That truck's got bones, used to haul for a mechanic in the 30s. Keep at it, kid. I nodded, sipping the bitter brew. His words stuck bones. Like my plan, rough, but solid. I tightened bolts, patched the frame, kept my head down. Cody's TikTok post hit my phone one evening, my truck captioned, "Family Traders Junk." I swiped it away, pulse spiking, but hands steady. Let her post. Let them think they'd won. At the shop, I took on extra repairs, my name climbing the board for reliability. Customers tipped extra, unaware my savings account was drained, my bets all in on the lien. Leslie texted again a month in. They're planning a barbecue, acting like nothing's wrong. Mortgage is slipping further. I smirked, picturing their fake smiles while the bank's deadline loomed. 90 days approached, default notice would land soon, the first crack in their facade. I worked late, the garage's fluorescent hum my only company. Each day I didn't crack was a day closer to their reckoning. My phone stayed silent. No apologies, no outreach. Fine by me. Then the bank's notice hit. 3 months after I'd been shoved out, the bank mailed the default notice to the Vaughn house in Seattle's rainy suburbs. Cody kept swiping her cards, piling her $50,000 debt higher, with late-night Amazon hauls, her influencer posts, flashing new sneakers while the mortgage slipped further. Dad, still chasing pipe dream investors for his logistics flop, missed another payment, month 2, then 3, delinquency stacking like unpaid tickets. I pictured Mom arranging her roast on the dining table, oblivious planning another barbecue to keep up the neighborhood charade. I climbed the shop's ladder, tightening bolts on my Ford's rebuilt engine, the oil tang sharp in the air. My hands moved steady, but my gut clenched, imagining their faces when the notice landed. The shop hummed with drills, my new normal day shifts, as lead mechanic now, a promotion earned through late hours and busted knuckles. Customers nodded approval, tipping for quick fixes, unaware I'd sunk every dime into the lien that held their house. My blog took off quietly. Posts about the truck's revival rusted frame to running rig, pulling comments from gearheads across Washington. A local auto parts shop sent a sponsorship offer covering new spark plugs for a shout-out. The extra cash padded my empty account, but I didn't spend it. Every cent stayed locked, my eyes on the foreclosure clock. Aunt Leslie texted mid-month, her tone clipped. They got the notice. Throwing a family wins party anyway. Idiots. I didn't reply, just smirked, wiping grease off my phone. Their denial was crumbling. The bank's timeline didn't lie, 90 days from default to sale notice, and they were halfway there. I worked nights in the garage, sanding the truck's chassis under flickering LEDs, each scrape peeling back my own doubts. The shop manager caught me late one shift, nodding at my rig. You're building something real, Heather. Customers ask about your blog now. I shrugged, but pride flickered, my junk was turning heads. Cody's TikTok popped up one evening, her smug face crowing about moving past drama at their barbecue. I swiped past Pulse, steady. Let them preen. The bank's sale notice loomed, set to drop in 3 months, month 6 total since I'd cured the $5,000 delinquency and claimed the lien. I'd confirmed with Riley, my lawyer buddy, you're set to trigger if they miss again. Notice goes out soon. I didn't reach out to them. No calls, no texts. They'd burn that bridge, shoving me into the rain. My days filled with torque and steel, my nights with the truck's slow transformation. The neighborhood started noticing. Mr. Grady waved from his porch, thermos raised like a salute. My world was small but solid, built on my terms. The countdown ticked on, each day a step closer to their unraveling. I tightened another bolt, the wrench cold in my hand. 6 months in the bank called. The notice of sale hit the Vaughn house like a sledgehammer, landing in Seattle's gray drizzle exactly 90 days after the default notice, just as Washington law dictated. I sat at my garage workbench, coffee gone cold, when Riley's text buzzed through. Sale notice mailed. Your lien holder. They've got 11 days to reinstate, or you trigger auction. My blood surged, steady but sharp, knowing their facade was cracking wide. Mom's call came first, her voice shaking through the line. Heather, the bank says we're losing the house. How could this happen? I leaned back, staring at the Ford's polished chassis gleaming under the LEDs. She didn't know I'd cured the $5,000 delinquency, claiming the lien that now gave me power to pull the plug. I stayed silent, letting her words fray. Dad tried next, his pitch clipped, desperate. We need to talk business, Heather. Your truck's worth something, invest it to save the house. I pictured him pacing the dining room, his logistics startup dreams long dead, replaced by missed payments piling higher than Cody's $50,000 debt. I didn't answer, thumb hovering over decline. Cody's texts flooded in by evening, a dozen pings in 10 minutes. Sis. I deleted the TikTok post. I'm sorry. Let's fix this together. Her influencer mask was slipping, her apologies as hollow as her sponsored hauls. I swiped them away, pulse steady, and set the phone face down on the workbench. The shop hummed around me, my hands tightening bolts on the truck's rebuilt engine, now a mobile repair rig drawing local gearheads. My blog had hit 1,000 followers, auto shops pitching sponsorships for oil filters and decals. A Seattle Times reporter emailed that morning wanting to feature my junk to gem story, photos of the Ford's transformation attached. The truck's appraisal came back at $20,000, 16 times my $1,200 buy-in. I'd built something real while they sank. Aunt Leslie's update landed midweek. Their scrambling barbecue canceled, Mom's crying to neighbors, Cody's begging brands for loans. I didn't smirk this time, just nodded, wiping sweat from my brow. Their desperation was their own, making, not mine. The bank's timeline was merciless, 11 days to pay or lose it all, and I held the note. I drove the Ford through the suburbs one evening, its engine purring smooth now, a far cry from the coughing heap I'd bought. Neighbors waved, Mr. Grady giving a thumbs up from his porch. My world stood firm, shop shifts, blog posts, steady cash from repair gigs. I didn't need their house or their approval. When Mom called again, voice cracking, I answered. Heather, we're family. Help us. I exhaled, slow, the weight of 6 months pressing down. I'd waited for that plea, dreamed of it in the rain-soaked nights after they'd shoved me out. But now it rang empty. They'd lied, used me, and cast me aside. My grip tightened on the phone, resolve cold as steel. I'd heard enough. Their pleas didn't sway me. I stood in the Seattle rain outside the coffee shop, eyes burning as I faced Mom, Dad, and Cody across a worn table. The bank's sale notice had hit 11 days ago. Washington's deadline for reinstatement was up. I'd called this meeting my ultimatum, clear, acknowledge their lie, the manipulation to siphon my $7,000 savings for Cody's $50,000 debt while hiding Dad's mortgage delinquency. I'd cured that $5,000 hole, claimed the lien, and now held the power to trigger the auction. Mom's hands trembled, clutching her latte. Heather, we're sorry. We panicked, thought you'd help family. Her voice cracked, but her eyes darted, still guarding their perfect image. Dad leaned forward, tie loose, his logistics startup failure etched in his face. Let's partner. Your truck's worth $20,000, use it to save the house. Cody, mascara smudged, nodded fast. I'll post about your rig, sis, free promo. We're a team now. I exhaled, heart steady. Their words echoed the dinner 6 months back, promises laced with control, no ownership of the betrayal. I'd dreamed of this moment rain-soaked nights after they'd shoved me out, but their half-apologies rang hollow. "No," I said, voice cold. "You lied, used me, called me selfish when I saw through it. I offered a chance, admit it fully, or the auction goes." Mom gasped, hand to her chest. "You're too harsh, Heather. We were protecting you." Cody's phone clattered on the table, her influencer shine gone. "You'd let us lose everything." Dad's jaw tightened. "We built that house. You can't just—" I stood firm, rain pattering my jacket. "They'd chosen pride over truth, same as always." "You chose this," I said, turning away. I triggered the auction that afternoon, Riley's text confirming trustees set sale in 20 days. I blocked their numbers, the weight of 6 months lifting. The house sold at auction, a modest ranch, fetching just enough to clear the note. Mom rented a cramped apartment in Tacoma, her marriage to Dad crumbling under foreclosures, stress divorce papers filed weeks later. Cody's $50,000 debt pushed her to Chapter 7 bankruptcy, her influencer gigs drying up. She took a server job at a diner, no filters to hide reality. Dad sold his old sedan, retreating to a cheap rental, his network shunning a failed entrepreneur. I drove my Ford through the suburbs, its engine purring, my mobile repair rig now a steady business. The Seattle Times ran my story, junk to gem, a symbol of grit. My shop shifts and blog sponsorships built a new life, neighbors like Mr. Grady cheering me on. I'd lost blood but gained respect, mine and from those who saw my worth. This taught me, family isn't blood. It's those who honor your choices, not exploit them. If you've ever stood your ground against pressure, share your story below. Keep building your path.